Order! Order! You are an incorrigible delinquent at times. Behave yourself, man!
Welcome back. You're watching Sky News. Now, the tennis legend Boris Becker has avoided bankruptcy proceedings in the UK with a diplomatic loophole. He's become a sports ambassador to the Central African Republic, meaning that he gets immunity. Let's get the views now of legal commentator Joshua Rosenberg. He joins us live from central London. Joshua, good to have you on the programme. Have you ever come across anything like this before?
There was a case where a man who was facing divorce proceedings got himself accredited to the International Maritime Organization, which he thought would give him diplomatic status. But he lost his case in the Court of Appeal. The court said that he didn't come within the required rules. And I think Boris Becker has also got to satisfy various requirements in the Vienna Convention on Diplomatic Relations if he's going to get away with this particular argument. One of them says that a diplomat enjoys immunity from civil and administrative jurisdiction except in the case of any professional or commercial activity outside his official functions. And this case that he's defending has nothing to do with any diplomatic status he may have. And another one that says that if you live in the area to which you're accredited, you have immunity only in respect of official acts. So I think Boris Becker has got a bit of an uphill challenge if he's going to satisfy the courts in the United Kingdom that he does have the diplomatic immunity that he's claiming.
He says he's going to become a sports attaché to the EU for the Central African Republic, and goodness knows what role that will entail. So if you want your money back and he owes you cash, I know there's a lot of bankers lining up, what can they do? What legal grounds have they to go for him?
Well, they are going back to court next Monday, that's the plan anyway, to prolong his bankruptcy in the hope that they will be able to get money back, I suppose, that he may earn in the intervening period. He was granted diplomatic status, he says, as way back a couple of months ago in April, and presumably the EU didn't object, and so he says, given that the EU accepted him as a diplomat, as a sports attaché, new one on me, but you've had military attachés in the past, so he says, what's the difference? Assuming that that's all gone through, then he does have this diplomatic status. But as I say, his trustees in bankruptcy, the people who are trying to recover money for his creditors, may well challenge this at a future hearing and say, well, in the circumstances, he doesn't come within the Vienna Convention, he doesn't have diplomatic immunity.
We will leave it there. Joshua Rosenberg, thank you very much.
Now, the former Wimbledon tennis champion, Boris Becker, is trying to claim diplomatic immunity so he can avoid being sued. Mr. Becker was declared bankrupt last year, but he's arguing that he should be protected from any legal claims because he was made a cultural attaché by the Central African Republic, one of the world's poorest countries. Jane Dodge reports.
He was just 17 when he won Wimbledon the first time, the youngest male Grand Slam singles champion ever. He did it again a year later, and then a third time in 1989. The man they called De Bomber and Baron von Slam was one of the tennis greats for more than a decade. Since then, Boris Becker has coached and commentated. Now his turn to diplomacy. This is his new office, the Embassy of the Central African Republic in Brussels. He's listed on the website as the country's sports attaché in the EU. He's met the country's president, although it's not clear how much time he's spent in the Central African Republic, a country that's been ravaged by war for more than a decade. "Diplomatic honours for me," he tweeted when he got the job in April. Now he says he intends to use his diplomatic immunity to avoid bankruptcy proceedings. Boris Becker has described the action by private bankers Arbuthnot Latham as unjustified and unjust. He said he's claimed diplomatic immunity to bring this farce to an end and will be seeking compensation once this gravy train has been stopped. Fighting talk, but will it work?
This approach by Boris Becker is likely to work. It's legally a valid solution for him. I think the problem is that most people will find it morally repugnant.
Baron von Slam may be refusing to play ball with the bankers, but he insists his new role will allow him to give something back to one of the poorest parts of the world.
I've been